Hello, my name is Roxy Runnels, and I wanted to share with you some of my favorite features in Desmos. So it's really hard for me to narrow down to just one, so I'm going to share with you a few of my favorites. So, of the ready made activities in Desmos Classroom, I think that the polygraph is my favorite thing to do with students for several reasons. So, first of all, it is an activity that's already built. There's nothing that the teachers need to build on their end, it's already completely done, ready to use. I think the reason that I like it the most is it's something that is so versatile in my classroom. I love that students are reading, writing, and oftentimes in my experience speaking math, because students had trouble just staying quiet. They really wanted, like, they started sharing with their neighbors even if the person they were playing with was not their neighbor. They were really excited to discuss what was on their screen. It was something that I felt was really applicable to my students, that I could differentiate for students very easily, all the way from my SPED students, my on level students, my English language learners, all the way up to my advanced students. It was something that they were able to differentiate for themselves. There was, of course, the feature where they could say, I don't know, for the yes no questions, and I could see that as a teacher and come and give them individualized feedback. It's a fantastic tool. And it's so very versatile and can be used for so many steps in the process of different functions. For example, the one I have here on my screen is the polygraph for parabolas. This can be used in algebra 1, algebra 2, and pre-calculus, depending on the vocabulary that you are hitting for that unit, for that level, which is just amazing that it's something that students can see again and again and again. Now, during virtual learning, something that I personally started to use quite a bit was the computation layer in creating online the Desmos activities. So this is an assignment, a session that I'd put together for our district, and we called it Desmos Does That, and it was highlighting my four favorite features that teachers can create on their own. Of course, a lot of activities are already out there created for teachers to use, but these were some of my favorites that I was able to share with teachers and allow them to copy, create, and use some of those computation layer pieces. So just a quick rundown of some of my favorite things. Of course, the card sort. Card sorts are amazing. That's something that we did a lot of physical card sorts before the virtual learning. And of course, after the spring of 2020, we were in virtual learning. Students were not in person. And even the year after that, when students were in person, we didn't want them actually touching things that they would be sharing with others. So this was a great way to get around that. What I love about this is you can match cards and it tells you immediate feedback for students if they got it right or wrong, which is phenomenal. It gives them that immediate feedback. They don't have to wait for the teacher. Of course, multiple choice, multiple select. Here, this problem, I chose the wrong answer on purpose the first time to see that you try again. And when you get the correct answer, it gives them that positive feedback. When we did the session, one of the things that we talked about, and I didn't build it into here because I wanted us to have those discussions as teachers, was we talked about giving students feedback on those incorrect answers. So, for example, if they chose this incorrect answer, we could say, no, try again. Remember, the formula is x square root of 2. What would you need to multiply or divide to get from the hypotenuse to the leg? And you can give students hints or re-guidance through the multiple choice. The copy a graph feature I thought was amazing. And this is something that I know is really useful for our teachers here in Texas for the Algebra 1 EOC test, because that's going to be a new question type this year. Students will be required to graph functions on the test. And this was one way for students to practice this. And we implemented this before. We knew that that was definitely going to be a question type, but we were able to implement this so that students could get immediate feedback to know if they were right. And this would be a great way for them to practice. So here I'm going to put a wrong answer in. Let's say y equals negative, no, 3x minus 2. And on the next screen, what it does is it copies the student's graph and then has the correct answer in a dotted line. And here I can see, oh, it's not -2, it's +2, and students can go back, change their answer, guess and check if they need to until they get the correct answer. And that way they can reason through and work backwards if necessary. Um, it's just a really great application of that computation layer. And finally, an interactive graph. This was something that I've shown teachers before in the past, that they can save graphs at that Desmos calculator. And here they can actually import those graphs, anything that they've created, rather than sending students several links. They can put them all in one. They can put them all into one activity builder and have students practice those. And so, for example, one of my favorites is using the sliders for transformations of functions. Here we have a cubic function, and they can change that a, b, c, and d value. There we go. And students you can embed questions or have a companion worksheet that asks students to make and test predictions about what those a, b, c, and d values mean. I know that's more than one of my favorite features. I guess to summarize, I really love polygraph. I love the vocabulary and the versatility of it. And I love computation layer. And I look forward to all of the things that I can do with computation layer in the future.